Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from Inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another card making video. This time we are doing our Stamp Around the World video hop. So we've got demonstrators from all over the place participating in this hop. All their links will be in the description, so please do click in that description box. You'll have to press more and see those links in there, so do have a look at those. All your support's really appreciated to help grow our channels and get them out there so we can inspire even more people in our respective areas. So with that, let's get on with our theme for this time around, which is our favourite technique. Well, this was a hard decision. And a lot of the time when I have something to do for a theme like this, I'll immediately go to the magic of heat embossing, and in particularly the emboss resist. So with emboss resist, there's like ink blending over the top of some heat embossing, yes. So this time, and I suspect that some other people will pick embossing. There is a bit of embossing, but it's dry embossing, and I'm going to do some ink blending as well. It's because I really like ink blending, and I like building backgrounds and using the products to sort of create something to be the focal, to be the backdrop to my sentiment as the focal point. Okay. So I'm bringing out a new bundle. This is called Pattern of Friendship. Some lovely sentiments in this, and it's kind of in this nice quirky little sort of balloon font thing as well. And this, it's nice. It's you've got some sort of scripty stuff, some little teeny ones as well. Really nice set. Used a couple of these already. Using another one today, and then to go with this we've got this awesome die. Look at that, huge! So we can do our whole card front, but it doesn't cut, it just makes an impression. And of course you can use it sides horizontally or vertically, okay, or even on the wonk if you've got a smaller bit of paper. So this is super cool, right? Super cool. You might find it a little tight to go through your machine to start off with. Just bear with it, because you can't really put it in sideways or anything, but just make sure you build your sandwich correctly and it will run through. Usually the first time you run a large die through the machine, it is a bit more difficult, but they often get easier over time. Okay, so this is what we have created with those bits and pieces. Then we've got that lovely embossed detail. Isn't that cute? Okay, so I've gone horizontally on this one. Okay, there's our lovely sentiment, just in memento ink, and we've got yellow, orange and pink as a nice trio of ink blending in the background behind our lovely heartfelt hexagon punches, just to give us something in the background there. Okay, and I've got that silver coming through in the ribbon and the rhinestones. Okay, so done a few bits and pieces ahead of time because you've got a few videos to work through, so I think we'll just skip ahead to what we're gonna use today. So we've already got the white card base, which is ready and waiting. I've got a scrap there to stamp on when we're ready to do that. I've punched out a few of those heartfelt hexagons already, and that one's left over from the project, this card sample, and I've already run this through the die cut machine. Okay, so that you can see the back. You know, sometimes you can potentially use the reverse, but with a die it's not quite so clean. But if you were looking for something a little bit more rustic that you wanted to have as a backdrop, then maybe you would like to use that. Okay, but we're going to go for the pretty side today, and it's pretty. Okay, so let's do our ink blending then. So we did our nice warm tones on here, so let's go with some cool tones. I'm going to bring in some scrap paper. Okay, I think I'm going to work sort of sideways, if you like, and we're going to use Pool Party, Fresh Freesia and Highland Heather as our trio of colours. It's nice to use a trio. Okay, so just a little bit on the brush, and I'm taking off. I really want to go lightly with this. You can build up the colour, but once it's on there, it's on there. So you can always add more if you need to. It's not so easy to take it away again. Okay, so we're just going with a light hand over there to give us a backdrop. A little bit more in the central portion here, where those punch outs are going to come in. So Pool Party sort of acting as our sort of light sort of base, if you like. And then we're going to bring in this lovely Fresh Freesia. So again, just dab of ink. I mean, I barely touched the ink pad and it picks up so much ink, but you don't want all of that necessarily. And then we're going to bring that in as well, and where the two meet you get some interesting sort of Highland Heather tones to that, and you can kind of extend this as far as you want across the page. So we could bring this in from the other side as well, so we get more of that true Fresh Freesia colour. Okay, and then we've got our Highland Heather to bring into now. Oh, there might be enough ink on there actually. Let's just go with it. So a bit more of a truer purple. And again, it kind of depends how much you want to bring in. Bearing in mind you're going to be covering it with punches, so it's often a good idea just to sort of play around with your pieces and see how it's going to look. Whether you want colours to extend any further than they have already, so that they will be visible. Okay, so this is very much an artistic license as to what you want to do with this. I'll drop a bit more Pool Party across here so it peeks out a little bit. Okay, but the idea is not to actually cover the whole card and leave some white space. And these are the kind of things that always sort of look a bit of untidy. I think is the way to describe it, until they don't. Right, until you finished it all and it all comes together at the end. Okay, so we don't want to be doing much more with that, so we're going to just get that adhered to the card base. And I like to use my Stampin' Seal for that because it's quick and easy. We'll just make sure those borders are nice and even around the edge. The panel I've chosen to use is 3 7/8 by 5 5/8, so a little smaller than normal, so we get that nice border. Just pressing that down, preferably without moving it out of the way though. There we go. Lovely. So that's the backdrop that we've got at the moment, and now we need to place our punch pieces. Okay, and of course you're not going to use full ones. So I had one little bit left over. You probably want 3 other ones, but it depends on how far you want to go with it. we may not want the extra ones. We could just stop at doing that and letting the rest of it do the work. Okay, but I like the sort of the colours peeking through, if you like. Quite like that actually as a basis. So we're going to probably cut, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, I should have cut, I shouldn't have stuck that down actually. I should have stuck it down afterwards so we can cut away the excess. It doesn't matter. Right, we'll work around it. Okie dokie. Let's pop this one in because we know it's going to go there. And I'm just sticking these down flat with some seal. Is that too far over? Oops. Do catch on these little raised bits. It is well embossed. It's nice. Yeah, I do want to cut a bit off that. So I'm going to line that up with that little dot there. And then we're going to trim this one down. So I'm going to take about 1/4 inch off that. So on the little trimmer we can line that up. Obviously we haven't got a flat edge there, but these little lines denote 1/4 inch, so we can line that up and trim that. Press hard down on there and then it won't move. Let's see where we are with that. Might be need a bit more. Yep. So yeah, don't stick it down. You can use a bit of if you use a bit of washi tape, get it lined up and stick it down. If you've got a really small piece like this, keeps it in place long enough for you to get the bar down and be able to trim it, and then you can just remove that after. Just easy. It's popping it back on its keep it on a trolley next to me. Okay, right, that's going to work. So we'll secure that, and I want that to go all the way to the edge, so I'm just going to make the gap fit what it needs to, but have them all lined up. Hopefully my head wasn't getting in the way then. There we go. Now I'm going to use a pencil, I think, just to decide how much we want to shave off here. Okay, so we'll trim that bit off. And this one's going to stay intact, so let's just pop that on. This nice even border, you can nice eyeball that like so, and then we'll trim this one. So now I've got those little tick marks, I can do what I did before. Let's just line that up. And slice that off. And we can pop that along the bottom there. Cool, yep. Yeah, so that would have been a lot easier without the if I hadn't stuck it down. I got ahead of myself. It happens. There we go. disaster averted. Okie dokie, so that's our backdrop, and we've got all three colours sort of peeking out in there. Really is up to you, you know, how much colour you want to pop on and everything, so you can adapt this idea for your project, of course. Now on this scrap of paper, I'm just going to stamp this lovely sentiment, which is so true, isn't it, that, you know, you can't pick your family but you can pick your friends, right? So in fact, I'm going to tip that over this way, lining up that nice straight edge at the bottom, and then just firm pressure and holding that down to make sure that that ink transfers. There we go. Just takes a moment to dry, so we'll just get that stamp cleaned off while we're doing that. Pop this away before something lands in it, and these scraps can go away. So we're going to have to trim that down to fit on our card. On this sample, I've actually used the pick a punch banners to cut that, just to give it a bit of a quirky edge. So there's loads of different ways you can do that. Either, you know, just cutting it manually or whatever. I might just do a flag on this one, just because I can. So trimmers back in, so we can line this up. It's straight as it's going to be, if you know what I mean. So we'll just line this up, and I want to cut that so that I just want that text to just be appearing on the right hand side of that track there, and then cut that down. Could probably use that for something else. And it's going to butt up to the left, so I'm leaving that as it is, but this is too long to be punched, so, or cut or whatever. So let's lop it off at about there. So that's 3. So if you want a measurement, 3 7/8 of an inch. Let's go for that. Okay, and we can just put on, we can either punch that or cut in our own little flag end, which we can do with our paper snips. Ooh, almost lost a block on the floor. Reflexes were at the ready there. So if you want to cut your own flag, so I'm going to use the paper snips, which are super sharp all the way to the point. Okay, so your flag will be as deep as the cut you make up the centre of the cardstock. So I'm going to take it in, what's that, about a quarter of an inch, something like that. And that's how deep that's going to be. Further in you go, you're going to have a deeper V, if you like. Okay, and then you're going to go from the corner to that central point. And if you sort of, often it sticks in there because you don't quite go all the way, and if that happens, you can flip it over and you can make sure that it's absolutely even on the other side, and then just take that away. If you put it backwards rather than forwards, you won't tear the front of your cardstock. Okay, so on this one we had it running across this join here, but we could, you know, move that around a little bit and have a different view. I'm also going to switch out the ribbon for the iridescent stripe, because this has got like the purple and sort of purple tones that we've got in the ink blending, so I figured that would look nicer with this card. So yeah, think, yeah, we're going to go for those bits again, I think. So I'm going to run some seal there and use my ribbon scissors. So let's just cut that length off about there, cut that length off about there, and we'll trim it off afterwards. So this bit's gonna go there and run across. A little bit crinkly. It's not supposed to be crinkly, but it's kind of ended up that way somehow. Maybe it's just gotten a bit squished in my little tote thing that I've got for it. And then we'll run this one across here, so it sort of gives it the illusion of having a nice thick or a wide ribbon, shall we say, and those ends are loose intentionally so that we can just again just chop those off. And I'm going to use sort of a flag style angle on those. Not worried if they're going to be a little bit uneven, it's fine. And then to adhere this, I'm going to use some dimensionals to give it the lift, but because we're going over some ribbon, we're going to need some wet glue to help that adhere so it will seep through. These aren't so great on kind of textured or sort of but basically not paper, multi-purpose glue. So if you just pop a dollop of that on each of those dimensionals, like cherries on a cake, and then pop your sentiment on. I'm taking this beyond that border there, and again it just breaks everything up, it just gives everything a little bit more of a organic kind of look. That wants to pop out, which is really annoying. Probably should have, I could have stuck a glue dot under there. I can fiddle with that off camera. Just make sure that's going to sit where I want it to sit, and usually that means glue dots. Okay, that's usually the best way to make ribbon do anything that you want it to do, really. And instead of rhinestones, I think we'll use those multifaceted thingies. What are these called again? Iridescent faceted gems. There we go. So again, the iridescence, you know, it has all that has that purple and pink kind of tone to it, as do these. So let's bring that in here as well, in at my usual fashion. We'll use an odd number of these just to bring everything together. Okay, so that makes it 5. So it's just sticking those just to those flatter parts, just to give them a chance to make sure that they stay put. You can put a little spot of glue underneath them if you want, if you think they might be vulnerable to popping off. Okay, and we'll just make sure that that ribbon gets a bit tidied up. So that's my purple, pinks, blues. This is my red, orange, pink, orange, yellow version. Slightly different ribbons and embellishments, but we are using ink blending with some texture and building a background with our supplies. Okay, so there we go. I've loved doing that. That was really, really fun. Just make sure you do that before you stick it down, and it will make it a whole lot easier. So don't forget to check out all the other videos. All the links are in the description to those. Please do like, share, and all that stuff. And that would be really, really appreciated. Thanks ever so much for joining us for the hop. Do stay safe, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.